Welcome back to Birds of a Feather. This is your daily Baltimore sports podcast. My name is Nathan Stroud, and today we're going to be going over the Ravens' 22-27 loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers on this very gloomy Sunday afternoon, where the Ravens lose to the Steelers. Obviously, anytime the Ravens lose is obviously not a good feeling, but when you lose to the Steelers, it's an extra just negative feeling. But also, when you lose in the fashion that the Ravens did lose today, it's the third extra just sting when it comes to a loss. And this game was all over the place. Literally was all over the place. There is countless different parts of this game that you can go back to and nitpick certain things and talk about certain things, about different missed opportunities, because at the end of the day, the biggest thing in this game, if you had to kind of wrap it up as a whole, was the missed opportunities and an absolute screw job when it comes to the Baltimore Ravens. And it really does feel like the NFL did kind of lose this game for the Ravens. The Ravens scored a touchdown late in the fourth quarter with about 2 minutes left in the game, and the Ravens had a chance to take a lead right there. And obviously the defense would have had to make a stop, obviously, but the Ravens had a chance to take a lead, and the touchdown got overturned, and the Ravens ended up losing on a call that is going very viral right now. If you're online, if you're on the internet, if you're keeping up with the Ravens in any sort of capacity, I'm sure you've seen this call somewhere because it is being talked about constantly right now a lot. But it is also getting talked about. It's going to be getting talked about all week long, to be honest with you. It's one of those calls that should have been called, wasn't called, and it legitimately was a huge reason in why the Ravens didn't win this game, because they got screwed out of a call. And it happens, and it sucks, and it's unfortunate. And if you're following the Birds of a Feather Twitter account, which you can click the link in the bio to go check out, I've already kind of expressed all my true energy over there. So I'm a little bit drained when it comes to this team, because this team has drained so much emotion and so much hope out of my soul and out of a lot of Ravens fans' souls as well, because this team obviously was the Super Bowl favorites heading into the season. And now we're currently sitting at 6-7 and second now in the AFC North. The Steelers did just take the lead after the Ravens were winning for 2 weeks, or the Ravens had the lead for 2 weeks. And now the Steelers are back in front, and they're kind of alone in front as well. They have a one-game lead over the Ravens. They have the head-to-head battle as well. And it sucks, man. There's 4 games left of this season. But to be completely honest with you guys, this really, in a way, did feel like the season. This was the definition of a must-win game for both teams. Both teams had a lot at stake here. And the Steelers played incredible in the first half, and the Ravens played a lot better in the second half than what they did in the first, but ultimately the Steelers did come away with the win. Does it kind of put a little sour taste in your mouth of how it happened? Yes, of course. Going back and looking at that touchdown that got reversed, it is still insane. But there's multiple different times in this game where the Ravens could have put themselves in better positions. There was 3 drops in this game that I can really think of. 3 drops in this game. Really 4 if you want to count the Mark Andrews drop at the end of the game. But 3 drops in this game. 1 by Rashad Bateman, 2 of them by Zay Flowers, 1 of them by Mark Andrews if you want to count that one. So there was a couple drops in this game, but that was kind of the least of the problems. You want to talk about some of the drops, especially the third down drop with Bateman. When we were deep in their territory, and he dropped it on third down, which would have been a first down, and who knows what could happen there. But the Rashad Bateman drop obviously sucked. Just kind of thinking of ones at the top of my head. The Rashad Bateman drop, the penalty on the fourth down call, the penalty on the field goal attempt that then gave the Steelers a first down, which then they scored a touchdown at the goal line. Obviously the Isaiah Likely reverse touchdown call, the interception reversed where Aaron Rodgers was on his knees and the ball was in the air and Teddy Buchanan ripped it away from him, but they didn't call it interception, they called it a sack. So that could have been reversed as well. That one was very close. What else? What else? What else? The offensive line just being garbage like it's been all year long. The offensive line continuing to play horrible. Daniel Falele and Andrew Voorhees continuing to be the worst guard duo in the NFL. And Daniel Falele continuing to be the worst guard and worst offensive lineman in the NFL, point blank period. Kind of a wide receiver problem, to be honest with you. It kind of doesn't really feel like anyone is a contributing factor on offense besides like Zay Flowers and Isaiah Likely in this game at least. Rashad Bateman didn't do anything really in this game. Had a huge third down drop, which really was bad. Mark Andrews, we just paid him $39 million on a 3-year extension. He had 1 catch for 9 yards in this game, so that extension's looking really, really good. Shout out to Eric DeCosta for that incredible extension for a 30-year-old washed tight end instead of paying your younger 25-year-old more talented tight end in Isaiah Likely. So shout out to Eric DeCosta for that move. And also the defense. The defense was a complete mess in this game, especially in the first half. They got a lot of really big stops in the fourth quarter. The defense did. The defense played very well in the fourth quarter. They got a lot of big stops that put the Ravens offense in a position to win the game. So that was good. But throughout the game, the Steelers' defense kind of got fried a little bit by Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers had like his best game of his career, like in the past 3, or like not best game of his career, but they had the best game he's had in like 3 years, I think. So Aaron Rodgers put on an absolute performance today. Shout out to him. And also just, a lot of missed opportunities. You know, Lamar Jackson had a couple of errant throws in this game. I'm not going to sit here and say that he played good by any means because he threw an interception in this game that was really, really, really bad. Threw to his cousin, James Pierre, which was kind of funny. So Lamar didn't play great. Offensive line played like absolute garbage. I will say Lamar Jackson did play a lot better in the second half of this game, especially in that third quarter. Played a lot better, but still just a couple of like late mistakes. You know what I mean? Running the football looked a lot better from him. He does look pretty much fully back to speed. They were like comparing his average miles per hour per run, which was sitting at like 10 miles an hour for like the past 3 weeks, but it was at like 15, backed up to like 15 today. So him running the football, he looks good running the ball, like him escaping the pocket, doing whatever he does. That looked fine by Lamar. Like he looked good on that front, but just a couple of errant throws by him this game. Obviously a couple of drops from his receivers as well. But I would just love to see like more production from the wide receiver room, which we've talked about before on here. But more production with the pass catchers, because it kind of feels like Zay Flowers is the only one that does anything sometimes. And even Zay Flowers has his moments where he doesn't play well. So just not very consistent. Like, not a lot of consistency when it comes to the pass catchers this year. Obviously, last year, like, Zay had a great year. Bateman had a great year. Mark had a really good touchdown year. Isaiah Likely did good. So last year, in terms of the pass catchers, there was hella production from everywhere. This year, it is very, very one-sided with Zay Flowers and kind of everything else. But again, even Zay Flowers has his own mistakes. But yeah, heartbreaking game. Absolute heartbreaking game. It's kind of crazy how similar the Ravens and Orioles seasons are. Now that you think about it, it's kind of crazy. But Ravens lose heartbreaking game 27-22. They fall to 6-7 on the season, and the Ravens are officially now kind of on life support when it comes to their season. Like, they do not control their own destiny whatsoever when it comes to the playoffs. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. There's a part of me, obviously I love this team to death, and I want nothing but the best for this team when it comes to the future and the current and the now and whatever. But there is a small part of me that, for one, I do not think that the Ravens will make the playoff. I thought that if they won this game, they had a very, very good shot to make the playoffs. Now it's kind of the complete opposite with the way that they played today, with the way that this offensive line plays, and seeing that we play the Patriots and the Packers and the Bengals again this upcoming week, and the Steelers obviously in the last week of the season. We have a pretty hard schedule over the next few games. I think we have like the third hardest schedule remaining in the AFC over the next 4 games. So going to be really tough. We're going to be playing a Bengals team again next week who looked pretty good today against the Bills. They did lose because their defense is awful. But when the Ravens play their defense, they turn the ball over 5 times because nothing normal can happen when it comes to the Ravens, of course. But there again, as I was saying, there is a small part of me that kind of just wants them to lose out. And I know that might sound crazy to some of you. Like, oh my God, you're not, like, you always have to root for your team to win, blah, blah, blah. Just listen. There's a small part of me that wants this team to lose out because, for one, I think that them winning these next 4 games on its own is extremely difficult and kind of unlikely because, to be 100% honest with you guys, if the Ravens are going to make the playoffs in whatever reality realm world that is in, they have to win the next 4 games. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. They legitimately have to win the next 4 games against 4 pretty damn good opponents. I'm going to say the Bengals are pretty damn good because, again, they've shown us that when we played them, but them having Joe Burrow back on offense makes the offense lethal. Obviously, we know about their defense, but the Ravens are going to have to win the next 4 games, and the Steelers are going to have to lose one of their next 3 games, and obviously including the game against the Ravens. So we're going to need other teams to beat the Steelers, but we're also going to need the Ravens to obviously win as well. So the only thing that they can focus on is themselves at this point. They can't look at other teams to help them. Like they have to focus on themselves right now, and then other pieces will fall in place. But the reason why I say that I would like us to possibly lose out, which is possible even if they tried to win. But when you look at this draft, there's going to be a lot of really good names in this draft, and losing could potentially force change in this team because this team badly needs, obviously, a defensive coordinator change. Zach Gore needs to get the hell out of Baltimore. He needs to leave. He needs to get the hell out of Baltimore. There is no reason for him to be here. Zach Gore, please pack your bags and get the hell out of the city of Baltimore because he's been awful all year long. And the only time the defenses looked good when they were playing a football team that had no goals in their mind to win football games. So that's the only time the defense looked good at all is when they were playing teams that didn't even want to win. So obviously they made the defense look pretty good. But when you were actually playing football teams who are trying to win games and have future aspirations in the season, yeah, the defense doesn't play too well at all. So the defense is a problem. The offensive line is a problem. The consistency from the offense in the red zone and just in general is a problem. The coaching discipline is a problem. The way that the players are being coached is a problem. So I would, for one, love to see John Harbaugh and Zach Gore go in kind of a combo, a nice little firing combo pair right there, because this team cannot keep going with John Harbaugh at head coach at all. There needs to be a serious coaching change. He's been the head coach of the Ravens for 17 or 18 years. He's got to go, guys. We've got to just move on to a new guy, whether that's a college coach, one of the top college coaches available. I saw some people say Marcus Freeman or Dan Lanning. I would love that move. But do we really think that Eric DeCosta is going to fire John Harbaugh? No. I just don't think he's going to do it. I think Zach Orr getting fired is extremely likely, and if it doesn't happen, then I have zero idea what is going on in the head of Eric DeCosta. But John Harbaugh firing obviously is less likely than a Zach Orr firing, even though they both need to go. John Harbaugh, you've done a lot of good for this franchise. Thank you. Thank you for your contributions. But we got to move on. Like the passion, nobody feels like they want to play for him. He just doesn't bring the passion that you want. He was very animated and very emotional about some of the calls today, which I was glad about. Obviously, I would be a little concerned if he wasn't because of how atrocious some of the stuff in this game was. But we just got to move on, guys, from John Harbaugh. Like he's just got to go. Start a new era with a new coach. Not necessarily a rebuild. We don't need to rebuild the players. We already have a lot of talented players, or so we think, on this team to surround Lamar Jackson, obviously, because we know how valuable he is to this team. There's a lot of talent on the defensive side. There's a lot of talent on the offensive side. We just have to get the right coaches around these guys moving forward to unlock the best in these guys, because when it comes to John Harbaugh, it legitimately just feels like the exact same thing keeps happening over and over and over again, which is losing in the most disastrous way possible and just not feeling confident in close games at all. And that's just kind of the vibe with John Harbaugh, and I would love to move off him, but obviously we'll see what happens this offseason. So going over the box score of this game, obviously the Steelers win 27-22 over the Baltimore Ravens. And the Steelers also scored 0 points in the fourth quarter and led and set up to a Ravens comeback where they did come back, got down the field, scored a touchdown. Oh, never mind. It wasn't a touchdown. Got reversed. Every single human in the NFL that is not the officials that called the call believe that it was a touchdown because if you just have common sense, when you have 2 feet in the end zone and you have control of the football, it's a touchdown. And we'll go over the play in a second. I do have like a little pause screenshot of kind of what the play was if you don't know what it was, because it was an absolute it was insane. You got Steelers all on Twitter, all online saying that it was a touchdown, but obviously they're not going to complain about it. And then obviously Ravens fans are livid, the players are livid, the coaches are livid. The NFL world is talking about it right now because it is a very controversial call that in such an important moment, again, this was to take control of the AFC North. This wasn't like a week 2 game where like it doesn't really matter. No, this was a game to control the AFC North. This was like life or death for both teams, and that happened in a game with so much at stake. And it just sucks that referees and stuff like that not only cannot be consistent on the calls, but also just impact such big plays. And when you think back to like the no pass interference call with the Saints-Rams game in 2018 in the NFC Championship game, I mean, you look back to that and it's like the same type of thing, you know? It's the same type of thing where refs just ruin games for people, and it just sucks. But going over to the box score, when we look at the box score for the Ravens, obviously for Lamar Jackson, it does not look that great. He did pass over 200 yards today for the first time in about a month, so which is nice. But Lamar went 19 for 35, 219 passing yards, a touchdown, and an interception. The interception was really, really bad. It was a very bad interception. He was escaping from the pocket, tried to loft it over defender to Isaiah Likely, and it ended up being an interception because he just didn't put enough air on the ball. But that Lamar interception was 100% his fault. I'm not going to defend him on that at all. But Lamar overall, besides the interception, didn't have a horrible game. Did have some errant throws, but at the same time, this offensive line doesn't really help him at all, and this receiving core as well doesn't really help him at all. It doesn't really feel like anyone gets open besides Zay Flowers. So, doesn't really get any help from his deep receivers. Also doesn't really get any help from his offensive line, but, he tries out there, I guess. But still obviously makes mistakes. Didn't play perfect or necessarily good by any means today, but definitely could have won with the way that he played, and obviously if the touchdown would have actually counted. So Lamar Jackson, not the greatest day in the world, but did play better than he did over the past few games, which is nice, and did look faster and more agile as well. So that's a good sign that he's, I guess, feeling better and getting healthier and stuff like that, but obviously he's got to actually execute whenever he's out there, and not just in those assets. Going over to the rushing, Derrick Henry had 25 carries in this game, so it's nice to see the Ravens use Derrick Henry. Had 25 carries for 94 yards, averaging 3.8 yards per carry. He also had a catch for 8 yards in this game, so he had over 100 total yards in this game alone. Had a 19-yard run, which was his longest. But Derrick Henry did not by any means play well either. Earlier in the game, he did get going a little bit. Did have a couple of just times where he'd run into a wall. But also did have some decent runs in this game, but not some great runs as well. So not a great game by him. 94 rushing yards, it's whatever. Didn't get a touchdown in this game, but it would have been nice if Derrick Henry could have gotten a couple more blocks, especially on like some of the outer runs that he had, because it looked like there might have been potential there. But Derrick Henry played, okay, I guess. Keaton Mitchell with 6 carries for 76 rushing yards. He had a big 55-yard gain in this game, which was the biggest play by any player in this game. So Keaton Mitchell played great in the carries that he had. He had 6 carries for 76 yards, averaging 12 yards per carry. Obviously, a lot of that being from the 55-yard carry that he had, which put the Ravens in position to score, which they did end up scoring a touchdown there. And going over to the receivers, Zay Flowers did pretty much everything again when it came to a receiving point for the Ravens. He had 8 catches, which led the team. He had 124 of the 219 total passing yards. So Zay Flowers had 124 receiving yards, which is obviously first, had 11 targets in this game. Isaiah Likely, 4 catches for 25 yards and a touchdown. Should have had a second touchdown as well, but obviously did not get called. And Isaiah Likely with a solid game overall. I'm not going to blame him for that touchdown at all. I'm not going to say that he should have done anything different because it really did feel like he did everything right in that scenario, but just got overturned because of I don't know. I don't even want to give that attention too much, but Isaiah Likely, solid game, gets a touchdown catch, his first of the year, which was very cool to see. Rashad Bateman had 2 catches for 23 yards, also had a big third down drop in this game, which really, really did suck and really killed the momentum that we had in the fourth quarter. So that was big from Rashad Bateman. That was a big mess up there. Hasn't really done anything all year. But Rashad Bateman, 2 catches, 23 yards. Charlie Kohler had a 19-yard catch in the fourth quarter on the last drive of the game. Rasheen Ali, 2 catches, 11 yards. Mark Andrews, 1 catch, 9 yards. Derrick Henry, 1 catch, 8 yards. I mean, nothing else. It was all Zay Flowers and Isaiah Likely in this game. Obviously, Isaiah Likely with the touchdown. Should have been 2, but Zay Flowers did pretty much everything receiving-wise, so good to see from him. But he also did have some big drops in this game as well, but did make up for with everything else that he did. Going over the defense, Roquan Smith had a really good day today. He had 10 total tackles in this game. Loic Gilman had 7. Nate Wiggins had 6. Very solid game from the guys out here. If you want to go over to the sacks here, as you can see there, it was 0 sacks in this game for the Ravens defense. Again, we're playing a 41-year-old quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, and we didn't sack him once. And the Steelers' offensive line is not good by any means at all. But neither is the Ravens' pass rush, so I guess offensive line will win against a bad defensive line, even if it's a bad offensive line. So the Ravens get zero sacks in this game on Aaron Rodgers, so that's great. I mean, that's just amazing. Shout out to the Ravens defense for once again being one of the worst, if not the worst, pass rush in football. Also, shout out to Eric DeCosta for not being aggressive at the deadline, not going out and getting like a Quinnen Williams or someone like that, which could have really helped. But so again, shout out to him. Shout out to this defensive line for being absolutely atrocious. I think Myles Garrett has more sacks this season than the Ravens do combined, which is silly. It's just silly, but. Ravens defense played pretty horrible. Forced 0 turnovers, had no sacks. So again, no turnovers, no sacks. I mean, just let up 27 points and let Aaron Rodgers throw for 284 yards and let DK Metcalf out 148 yards. So I will say when it comes to the Ravens defense, they did a very good job stopping the run. The Steelers had 17 carries for 34 yards, averaging 2 yards a carry. But Aaron Rodgers kind of lit them up, 284 passing yards. DK Metcalf at 148 receiving yards. So kind of got lit up through the air. The secondary got absolutely torched today, which wasn't great. And I'll say about DK Metcalf, he had a hell of a game. Shout out to him. But he was torching like every Ravens corner. You had Nate Wiggins on him, he was getting torched. You had Awuzie on him, he was getting torched. You had Cal Hamilton, not Cal Hamilton. You had Marlon Humphrey on him, he was getting torched. So DK Metcalf really just like went toe to toe with like every Ravens corner and was able to beat him. So again, shout out to him. And I will say shout out to the Steelers. I'm not going to sit here and trash on them too much, but do I think the Steelers are a good team? No, I don't. I don't think the Steelers are a good team, but I think that we're just a worse team. And for people that are like, oh, what does it make you? It doesn't make us good. I don't think that we're a good football team, which is just, again, just saying that is kind of crazy because when you really think back to it, again, I literally recorded a season preview video right before the season started, right before that Bills game, kind of going over just what I want to see in this season. And obviously making the playoffs was kind of like the least of my concern. You kind of would have thought that it was a guarantee to make it in, much like the Kansas City Chiefs, who are also struggling this season, and they're going to be playing the Texans in about an hour. So I'm going to be rooting very, very hard for the Houston Texans, to be honest with you guys, because if the Chiefs are going to win, if the Chiefs are going to lose and the Ravens are going to lose, I want to bring them down with this down into hell with us. I just want to bring them down. So hopefully the Chiefs do lose tonight, because at this point I'm just hate watching, to be honest with you guys, because realistically I do think that this game probably was the difference in winning and losing the division, and also the difference in making the playoffs and missing the playoffs. So vibes aren't great. Obviously, I'm not going to say that it's over until it's actually officially over, but it's very much looking like it might be over, which is just very, very unfortunate. But again, losing these games and stuff like that, maybe this will be good down the line for the future, because maybe it's going to force change, which is going to mean John Harbaugh is going to be out, which is going to mean that Zach Orr is going to be out and all that stuff. So going over to another thing that we'll look at is the team stats. The Ravens had 22 first downs compared to the Steelers' 13. We actually outgained them on offense 420 yards compared to 318. So had more first downs, had more total yards, had more total plays than them. And we still lose. So we lose a game with more first downs, 26 more total plays, and 102 more total yards. So you lose on all fronts of that. Both teams had 10 drives. We had way more total plays, more total yards, and more first downs. And you still lose. We had literally like quadruple their rushing yards, 217 compared to 34. But they did have 84 more passing yards than us. When you want to look at the penalties, the Steelers had 7 penalties for 33 yards. We had 5 penalties for 39 yards. We, once again, lost the turnover battle and lost the game, because that's kind of how it works. Lamar Jackson with the turnover. The Steelers didn't turn over the ball at all. They also didn't get sacked at all, because, again, our defense is just magnificent. And then time of possession, the Ravens obviously controlled the time of possession 33-26 in terms of minutes. So, the Ravens, if you want to look at just the team stats box score, it kind of looks like the Ravens won the game. But unfortunately, the Ravens did lose by 5 in a heartbreaking fashion. They're going over to kind of a play-by-play for both teams. Game started off, Ravens started the game with the football. They drove down the field, 55-yard drive, kicked a field goal. Then the Steelers had an 8-play, 65-yard touchdown drive. We were down 7-3. Then the Ravens punted, negative 3 yards, 3 and out. Then the Steelers had a 3 and out. Then the Ravens had a 6-play, 24-yard punt play. Then in the second quarter, the Steelers had a field goal, a 12-play, 75-yard field goal for the Steelers. Then the Ravens, then Lamar threw the interception on the third play of that drive. Then the Steelers scored a touchdown off of the interception that Lamar Jackson threw on their drive. And then the Ravens answered back with a touchdown, big answer. And then Tyler Loop missed the extra point, which made things a little weird. So it was 17-9 at halftime. The Ravens were losing 17-9, and the Steelers got the ball back. Then the Steelers had a big 8-play, 50-yard drive, which led to a field goal. We're still in the game. It's 20-9. Then the Ravens, this touchdown right here by the Ravens was a huge, huge momentum shift in our favor. The Ravens ended up answering that field goal, ended up getting a 6-play, 70-yard touchdown drive to make it 20-16. All of a sudden, the Ravens are in this game, and then the very next drive, the Steelers get a 6-play, 80-yard touchdown drive, and like 40 of those yards were off of the most casual dump-off running back pass to Jalen Warren, who went like 40 yards for a touchdown. So all of a sudden, the Steelers are back in front, 27-16. Then the Ravens get a 10-play drive for a field goal. Then the Steelers punt. They had 3 punts in the fourth quarter. Punt, all in the third quarter, all 3 and outs. So the defense did the job in the fourth quarter, but the Ravens got a field goal, got another field goal. They settled for field goals there. They didn't end up punching it in for a touchdown. So they settled for 2 field goals. Then we turned it over on downs. That was the Isaiah Likely touchdown that didn't get ruled a touchdown, because that was on like second down, and then on third down it was an incomplete pass, and then on fourth down it was another incomplete pass, which was a turnover on downs. Then the Steelers punted, and then the Ravens had a minute and 56 seconds left to go out there and score a touchdown in a minute 56 seconds with no timeouts, and 9-play 36-yard drive ended the game. The play calls at the end of this game, like the Ravens actually were kind of driving down the field at the end of the game. We got to like the 40-yard line, like the opposing 40, and then Lamar got sacked, and then clock ran all the way down. So that was the game. Ravens lose 27-22 in an absolute just heartbreaking fashion, where it was kind of just a robbery. was a robbery, it was a travesty, it was a screw job in Baltimore when you want to talk about that specific play. But if you want to look at everything else other than that play, the Ravens didn't really deserve to win the game in some aspects. Obviously, that play really did suck and really did change this game. But the Ravens didn't really play well, Lamar Jackson threw that interception. Their defense was getting fried. They had missed opportunities on offense, but still, the game kind of went down to that touchdown that got reversed, and that's the thing that everyone's going to be talking about after this game. And the last thing that I want to show here before we end this episode is I want to show a clip of what happened for the play that obviously is the talk of the town as of right now. I've mentioned it multiple times in this episode, so for those of y'all who are watching on YouTube and don't know what I'm talking about, and if you're listening on Spotify, just go look it up on Twitter because it's going to be very easy to find. I mean, it's everywhere. So going over to the play, as you can see, Isaiah Likely's right here. You got Joey Porter on him right here. Lamar throws a very good ball to Isaiah. Isaiah catches it in the end zone, right? Has the ball. Has control. He is extending his arm out like this instead of tucking it in because he knows that the defender is right behind him. He's going to try and punch it out if it was tucked right here. And obviously Joey Porter made a good play punching it out when it was out here, but it was too late because he already had 2 feet in, or so it seemed before it was incomplete. So again, we're going to go back a little bit. Isaiah Likely catches the football. His arms are extended out like this. If you go to the rule book, it says a football move includes extending the ball away from the defender. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but is this not extending the ball away from a defender? You can see him catch the football like this. He could have easily just tucked it in and got the touchdown. But he extended out like this because he knew the defender was here. That's a common football move, I would think. So Isaiah Likely catches the football, 1 foot down, has control. Again, extending it away from the defender. He has 1 foot down here, then he makes another step, 2nd foot down right there. We're going to rewind it. Again, let's just make sure that I'm not crazy. Maybe that I saw something that I didn't. Maybe I'm just crazy because, again, the entire NFL world, the entire NFL community is very much one-sided on this play, that it was a touchdown and that the ref screwed the Ravens in this moment of the game. That is the consensus throughout the thing. So, going to look back at this play. Again, we're just going to watch it through. 1 foot, right? Control the ball, extended it out from the defender. 1 foot. Then he takes another step. 2 feet down. 2 feet down, right? I'm looking at both of Isaiah Likely's feet down in the end zone. Not obviously at the same time, makes a football move. 1, 2, 2 feet in the end zone. 1, 2 steps, control of the football, and then obviously then gets punched out right there. But it was after he caught the ball with possession. 1, 2, touchdown right there. Point blank period. That should have been it. Caught the ball, 1, 2 feet in, touchdown. That's it. Point blank period. There's no football move that needs to be played. There's no football move that needs to be made because it's already a touchdown and the play is over because he knows that he has full possession of the ball and 2 feet in the end zone. So, again, guys, if this doesn't count for a touchdown, then what do, toe taps do? You know what I mean? What does, side of the end zone toe taps do? What's the point of that? You know what I mean? There's no football move made there because you have both feet down with the possession, so it doesn't matter. Again, Isaiah Likely, I'm just going to replay it one more time. Isaiah Likely catches it. 1, 2, touchdown. Boom. That's it. Roll the touchdown, throw the hands up, touchdown. That's it. There we go, guys. Ravens take the lead, right? But I guess he has to make a third step. I don't know how many. I've been following football for a long time. I don't think that I'm in the wrong here. And again, it's just common knowledge. How many feet do you need in for a touchdown? How many feet do you need down? I thought it was 2. So I guess for the Ravens, it's 3. I guess for the Ravens, you need 3 feet in the end zone. I guess for the Ravens, you need them to have. They need Isaiah Likely to do 5 steps, do a spin, do the gritty all across the end zone, and then maybe he's in for a touchdown. But in this instance, he needs 3 feet down. Oh my God, he needs 3 feet down. But you need 2 feet down for every other catch, though. So it's just a little confusing on my end. Maybe I'm in the wrong. You guys let me know in the comments or if I'm wrong here. But I thought that if you have 2 feet down in the end zone with control of the football, that it's a touchdown and that nothing else really matters. Didn't know that you had to make a third step or a football move. And even if you had to make a football move, extending the ball away from the defender in the rules is considered a football move, which would make this a touchdown. So again, just very concerned, guys. Making a literal football move, extending it fully away from Joey Porter Jr. here, and then obviously goes for the third step and gets punched out before the third step. But guys, it's the NFL. This isn't college. College, you only need 1 foot down. In the NFL, you need 2 feet down in the end zone, or just a normal catch in general. This goes for a catch in the field of play as well. 2 feet down, touchdown. 2 feet down in the end zone, touchdown. There's no point of like a toe tap or something like that, because it's the same thing. 2 feet down in the end zone with possession is a touchdown every single day of the week, point blank, period. And it was reversed because apparently he didn't make a football move and didn't get a third step down, even though you only need 2 feet in the end zone, because that's just how football works. So again, you guys let me know. I see deadass 99% of the entire internet scouring, like talking about this play and saying the exact same thing about how the Ravens got robbed. So again, you guys let me know. Felt like this was just an absolute insane call. You have Steelers fans all over the internet saying that it was a touchdown and that, they got lucky and blah, 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 blah. You got Ravens fans fuming. You got NFL fans confused on what happened and feeling bad for the Ravens. So, again, just it's the vibes, you know what I mean? Orioles have an extremely disappointing year. The Ravens' season and games and losses always seems to end in the most controversial and just dumb and just unusual ways possible, it seems like, and the most heartbreaking ways possible as well. So, I mean, it's just the vibes with Baltimore sports, But again, thank you guys so much for tuning into and listening to this episode of Birds of a Feather. If you like this content, make sure to subscribe on YouTube, follow up on Spotify. Make sure to click the link in the bio to check out the Twitter and the Instagram. I appreciate you guys so much. Again, this was kind of a ranting episode because there was a lot to rant about, The Ravens' season pretty much just ended off of a BS call, and I mean, it sucks and it happens and you just kind of got to shrug and move forward, but I mean, it is a disaster. The Ravens had multiple missed opportunities, plus you talk about the horrible touchdown reversal, which was the difference in the game, which is just really unfortunate. But again, I appreciate you guys so much. This week is going to be pretty damn interesting. The Ravens will be preparing to play the Bengals this upcoming Sunday. But when it comes to the Orioles potentially might have some big moves coming up soon. Obviously, they signed Ryan Helsley, which was a big move to be their closer this season. And they also made the Grayson for Taylor Ward trade. But according to multiple reporters like John Heyman and Bob Nightingale and Jeff Passan, that the best is yet to come when it comes to the Orioles. And winter meetings did start this weekend. I think they started yesterday, so we're probably going to see the free agent market really start to move here this week. I think that this week is going to be the big free agent time period where things are really going to start moving. And obviously on Tuesday as well is the draft lottery for the MLB, where the Orioles, I think, have the 4th highest odds to land the first pick. So the Orioles are probably going to get a pretty good pick in this upcoming MLB draft, which we'll obviously learn about here. So it'd be cool if they got the first pick. Who knows? If they can get like a top 3, top 2 pick, that would be really, really, really cool. So we'll go over that as well. But potentially some big moves for the Orioles this week. Maybe their home run splash move will be this week. Who knows? We'll see. But obviously we'll update you whenever it happens on Birds of a Feather. I appreciate you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next one. You have a great sales day. Go O's, go Ravens, and I'll see you later. Peace out.